Now we're going to turn to the international paper review now, and James Creedon is with me here in the studio. James, what are you starting off with?
We're going to start with The Independent this morning, Stuart, and their take on Ivory Coast. The UN moves to stop another bloodbath. That's their main headline this morning, and they have testimony from from Abidjan. In the ghost capital, it's better to walk with your hands in the air, says Daniel Howden. He's their African correspondent. The safest time of the day, apparently, for people to go out on the streets is between 7 a.m. and midday, and people are venturing out despite the escalating violence, despite the siege that has been on for days now. People need to go out for food and water. So on seeing civilians, apparently, some soldiers shoot into the air, fire into the air to warn them to go back inside. Apparently, UN staff and Western diplomats are being told to stay in their basements. So very much a sort of a bunker atmosphere in Abidjan. And I suppose the Ivorian news websites are also pretty...
Yeah, it sounds fascinating. Abidjan.net, you found.
Absolutely, and that's worth watching. They have what they call a situation room. It hasn't been updated in the last number of hours, but they do have very regular updates, people who can give their own contributions, their own points of view. One contributor asks for everybody who uses Facebook to put a black screen in the place of their photo. He says that people from on all sides of the conflict, in order to remember those who have fallen and who are still falling, no matter what the camp. We remain brothers no matter what, says that commentator. There's also a photo, I think we might have a photo that was posted on the website showing a Ouattara soldier under some sort of a road, I suppose a road barrier, and so a lot of photos also being uploaded onto that situation room. Now another website worth looking at is coasi.com. It's a Pan-African news website based in Abidjan, and they have quite a factual description of what's been going on politically, France's involvement, the UN's involvement, the bombing of military bases in Abidjan. And one commentator saying, without France and the UN, you'd have to ask what this puppet Ouattara would do. He's truly useless. So obviously a pro-Gbagbo guy there commenting on that. And just one final newspaper to look at, Le Pays, meaning the country. That's a neighbouring Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso tends to favour Ouattara. The final hours of an anti-democrat is the headline of that particular article. They say he's going through his final hours. They're also very critical in that article of the African Union. They say both in Libya and now in Ivory Coast, they've lost all credibility.
And you've also pulled out some things from a website that I know you love very much, yes. The Daily Beast.
Yes, indeed. It's linked to this magazine, which came out yesterday, yesterday's edition of Newsweek. And in fact, the website is now doing much better than Newsweek magazine, worth pointing out. Worth showing the front page of that too. Sarkozy's war. Perhaps you could add an S onto that now after events yesterday. Sarkozy's war is here. They're talking about Libya in particular. But to move back to the Daily Beast, they're focusing on Obama's announcement yesterday that he will, of course, stand for re-election. 5 things Obama will bank on. Now, they say it's hardly surprising that he wanted another term. Let's have a look at the arguments for 4 more years. We're fixing the economy. That will be his first argument, despite, I suppose, the very slow fall in unemployment figures. Healthcare. They're saying you can count on lots of glitzy kind of multimedia packages being put up online with families who avoid a disaster because of the, albeit very limited, healthcare reform. Another argument, so much more to get done. Now, if hope and change were the bywords of the campaign last time round, it will be, well, change takes time and be patient. They will be, I suppose, the words most uttered, I think, next time out.
Exactly. He's going to have an interesting time, isn't he? What with Obama and Sarkozy coming up, elections next year, it's going to be a full programme of elections.
Absolutely. And indeed, I suppose you could say that one thing that could stand in his way is Libya, if it continues to unfold as it is unfolding at the moment. Popping the Gaddafi zit is one article by a guy called Andrew Sullivan. This is on also on the Daily Beast website. They're saying, despite there being a lot of differences between Iraq and Libya, notably a UN resolution, no US soldiers on the ground. One thing is similar, this no-fly zone. Between the two Gulf wars, there was a no-fly zone that lasted for some 10 years, economic sanctions, all in a bid to get Saddam out. Well, these are the same measures that are now being put in place in Libya. We saw how long it went on in Iraq. So really, could this be effective? So Andrew Sullivan says the Iraq experience surely shows the severe limits to this pop the zit strategy. And they say, this economic and diplomatic squeeze is hoping to pop out of Libya, that Gaddafi will pop out of Libya like the puss in a ripe zit. So
lovely.
Not a very nice morning
Popping
images.
Lots of zits. James Green, thank you very much with the International Press Review this morning. Thank you.